we plow everything.
I could see the inside part, but we shouldn't be plowing, because I've seen your snowbank. It should, whoever we bid that to, you should have a conversation with them, is they should not be wrecking their parking lot. They need access to their
Correct.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just costing you guys more money to move that snow.
And I'll have a conversation with the highway department too, just to
Yeah.
make sure they understand that's.
They need to push it a little
We
bit further.
had to get a front end loader out when we had that major snowstorm.
That's not
Cause
fair.
they plowed the frontage road and it all came right by that main gate going into the. It's interesting.
Yeah, we shouldn't be
These,
doing that.
this is why I love these meetings. These are little things that person has no idea. You guys are just always taking care of it yourself.
Yep.
You know, and it's really my responsibility.
Yeah, we can handle the inside. It's just trying to get.
To the inside.
Yeah.
The
The park district has a contract for plowing the parking lot, right? Because we did that. We used to have the contract. Yeah, okay. So I mean, like, we have to take care of our parking lot and
Right.
our sidewalks
You know, and then the park district does bill the county for that.
for that. So we're
Mhm.
way out to that. Or however you guys work that out, but no, okay.
Yeah.
And the fence should be you, but we shouldn't be making it tougher to get to your fence.
No. I'll
Thank you.
talk to Wayne out there just to make sure.
I think it's a little hectic wading through wasted snow.
Can't imagine.
What's worse is trying to find the road underneath it. Like, I know there's a road.
It's okay, I will get you the budget or get to you and Steve, so that you guys at least have the preliminary budget that was moved forward. Last night at our commission meeting, we took steps to. There was some confusion to where we ended on preliminary budget to where the actuals were. We took steps last night to backfill with reserve dollars to make sure that there was no increased taxes to the residents. Moving forward. No, this is still preliminary. You can go down to the final budget. You cannot increase. But we made sure that that resolution was accepted last night, that there will not be an increase to Burley County residents. So.
Anything else for the commissioner? Thank you, Commissioner Munson.
Thank you.
We are, with the absence of representatives from Swenson and Hagan, I will skip item number 4 and go to item number 5. Auditor Slenskowski is here to provide an overview of the Missouri Valley Complex Fund balance and interest earnings.
All right, sorry for my tardiness. I've been a little bit busy the last few days. So I misspoke the last meeting. So the Missouri Valley Complex Fund is its own fund. The commission has access to it. They have decision over what happens to it. However, is not in the general fund. It's not part of the general fund. So all the interest earnings from that fund go back directly into its own fund. So the balance as of right now is $5.6 million. And the amount of interest earned year to date is $65,589.
Ask question
Yeah.
about how money works in the county. So if you're saying on something that large, is the county able to invest it in something more than just a savings account? Like, does the county buy municipal bonds to get 6% interest?
We can.
Is that something, I mean, whatever, I'm not saying today, but something to
And
think
that's
about?
something that we
That's
can put
real
in.
money that you can put into.
We can put into bonds, we can put into
Yeah.
CDs, we have a whole investment manual
Wait,
that we can go ahead and do if we so choose.
but if not, that's just now sitting in somebody's.
A lot of it is already invested.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yeah,
That's why you're
so-
getting 65,000
Yes.
year to date. Okay, so
Yeah.
you already do that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
So, Mark, do
That's
you
cool.
have the breakdown? I was
Mhm.
given a breakdown with, the majority is in a long-term investment. We've got some in a short term. Do you know that split?
I have access to that information. I just didn't
No.
bring it down.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I just
Yeah,
wanted to
but
make sure
just
that you're
so that
doing
they-
this. It's not just sitting there.
Right.
It's not
In other
just,
words, where we sit on $50,000-$60,000
Yeah,
on doing 0.02% still into this day.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
No,
We don't want sitting around
Okay.
too much. And I can look into those investments and see what
No,
exactly we're getting to make sure we get as much as we can.
No, you got plenty to, don't worry about
You know, Auditor Sponskowski's got a really good handle on, especially as they're maturing, how he's investing them. That is being handled, I think, very, very well.
Great.
But I do know I had a report that there's a large majority of that 5 million that's in one long-term. But I don't know the maturity date.
And that's one thing that I have found is not to throw anybody under the bus, the former auditors, all that kind of stuff, but I've seen substantial amount of funds in different portions of our monies that are in longer term. They were put there when 2% was good and they're still stuck. And so,
Yeah.
or there's other ones where we don't get the full payout until it's completed. And so, yeah, that's something that we can look into, see what is stuck in long-term investments at a low interest rate. Or something that we don't get the full amount of return upon until it's matured. So,
Sometimes there's not much you can do about that.
Well, right.
yeah, you can only do so much. Like I said, and those auditors at the time, they thought 2% was pretty good.
Well, back then probably was great.
It was great.
You know?
Yeah, so.
I think.
I have a question and I'm not sure exactly how to formulate it, so I have to telling you guys, it's like Monday for me. So the 5.6 million is what we have in the fund entirely, and we are earning 65,000 in interest to date.
Today,
Okay, so that's a 1%.
and I'll have to look into exactly where all that interest, those funds are invested in and see exactly what's going on.
Okay. And to my knowledge, and maybe you remember off the top of your head, but last winter, there was a vote at the commission table to utilize a portion of that interest to pay for gravel and road maintenance, something like, do you happen to remember the amount?
Part of it was from last year's interest earnings, and then the other part was from this year's interest earnings, I
Okay.
believe.
But it was,
And so it was a conglomerate between the Missouri Valley Complex interest and then the general fund interest, I believe. It was a conglomerate of 2 or 3 different pieces there.
so roughly about $400,000 split 3 ways between the 3 interests.
I don't want to say something like that. Yeah, but I believe it was also for our last year's interest as well.
Okay. All right. And then the 65,000 that we have in interest, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, 50,000 we're taking out to go to Swenson and Hagen, or do I have that completely mixed up?
We didn't say it had to be from the interest,
No,
just from the fund.
Just from the fund itself.
Fund itself,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question in there somewhere that I needed to get straight. All right, is there any questions of the auditor regarding the balance, the interest? Or anything of such?
Is the only money allocated out of that fund currently the Swenson and Hagen stuff that happened at 2 commissions ago? Or is there any outstanding things that, like,
To my knowledge, that's the only portion. Yeah.
It's the only thing I recall authorizing from that fund since I've been on the board.
I can't think of anything lingering from the past 5 years, so.
No,
Then the commission taking it to buy down this.
There's been some maintenance items out there that we've handled just out of regular,
Yeah, you guys have been.
yeah, that's just handled out of our regular budget, not out of the fund.
Thank you, auditor.
Yeah.
I see the next item up for bids is number 6, using the county website. I don't believe.
Mary just sent me a text. She's on her way.
Okay, well, seeing as though I'm quite good at stalling today, so we'll stall a little bit longer. Item number 8, if it is no objection from the committee, we'll just jump to 7, 7. The staggered committee membership of stakeholder appointments. As I understand, there was a little bit of question as to the intent, not only from the county commission, but also stakeholders surrounding the table. And Scott, I go too far over the line here, somebody rein me back, but it is my understanding that the stakeholders, so those other than myself, Wayne and Dustin, as we are appointed by the county commission, but the stakeholders are not in a staggered term, that is up to each of your organizations to assign and appoint a representative from your representative stakeholders. The staggered terms really apply to the members of the public. Like again, myself, Dustin and Wayne. And if I don't remember entirely, Steve, after we talked, I don't remember what order that was in, but I believe Dustin's on a 3-year term. I believe I was a 2.
Looking up here with 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, it's 3, 2, and 1. And eventually what that does is it makes sure that there is always incoming, outgoing. What I would like to propose to the committee is to solidify that in our minutes by noting that our first official meeting of this committee occurred in April of 2024. And if we would use that as a date to come around to offer your respective organizations the opportunity to seat someone different at that April meeting, but also use that as a election of officers meeting, but really use that as the starting point. Not withholding any, if you have your own cycle of election, let's say your guys' board elects in October, there would be no limitation to your individual stakeholders from replacing someone throughout the year, finding someone different. But I don't know if we need to do a motion on that. But discussion around the table as to using April as that.
I think motion would be appropriate. It could also then fall in line with the appointment of the citizen members, the anniversary goes at the same time.
Right.
Can I ask a question of the county? Is, I'm gonna use, not which one is this, the health board that like Mrs. Olson's on. They seem to have a more of a cycle. Like, is it does every board come up at the same time? That's what I'm trying to get at. So like, is it, hey, in January is really when the county's looking for those applications? Is it weird if we are April? Does that make sense to you?
Thank you for bringing that up because I was thinking
Yes.
the same thing. So typically it's year to date. Typically what we do is anybody new or to re-up for an application happens in that November, December, but the term ends December 31st.
Yeah.
So
It needs to be that.
it would be more smooth and more consistent if it was.
So. Give me a second to think of a motion.
So Mark is putting out notices
Yes.
late October, early November for any individual that would like to be on the planning and zoning, all of the different boards. This would be a perfect one to add into that so that it's very consistent all the way through the county.
Mhm.
So that makes an excellent amount of
It
sense.
needs to be on their schedule, not ours.
That'd be appreciated.
Well, also I think like as a person who knows about boards and stuff, we might look for like who's leaving or what we might want to apply for, like I know to do that at the end. Was that set up when you guys made the appointments? Do you know? I mean, like, do we have to do anything if we're just gonna be on your cycle?
I think it would be a good motion to be on the county cycle for appointment terms.
Yeah.
That way it's clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
board appointments.
With the additional backstop, I want to make it abundantly clear, as long as especially our liaison from the county commission agrees, that the stakeholders are not a staggered election point, because it's not like we can have parks or, whatever.
Right.
Watch and come
And
on.
you could just word it if you want that the individuals appointed by the county commission would fall into the rotate the same appointing date as the other auxiliary boards.
I would move that.
She knows how this works.
We need to get individual appointed by the county commission, cycle with. board
Auxiliary boards.
Appointments. And something needs to be in there at the same point that this committee would. Also at that time have the opportunity to. Select its officers.
At the first meeting of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the other boards do.
Right.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
fully appointed, but not really.
Planning and zoning board does elect chair and vice chair at the first meeting of the year.
I just want my motion to stand with what Mark said. I don't know about the rest at this point. We can change that. Someone can make a different motion. I just want mine to be clear. It is following the other auxiliary. That's all I'm saying.
I'll second that.
Thanks, guys. So there's a motion. That I believe reads. Individuals appointed by the county commission. To the Missouri Valley Complex Committee. Would. Follow. The established. Boards and commissions. Timeline. As all other, what really county, wow, I could do
It's
better.
called
than
the-
this.
The meeting's recorded. You can just listen to it.
It's auxiliary board.
It's auxiliary.
Yes,
Yeah.
that we follow the
Auxiliary
yeah,
board
that's my
schedule.
intent. I can rewrite it.
You saving me here?
Need that for the record.
All right, I'm reading this for the record. Appointments to the Burley County Auxiliary Board. Boards are made by the Burley County Commission. Burley County policy states that auxiliary board members may serve 12 years or 3 terms, whichever is greater. If only the applicant is an incumbent, the commission can vote to waive the term limitation as limitation schedule. County commissioner's service on a board or committee terminates when a commissioner no longer serves in office.
Get that as declared.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well,
All right, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion as read? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
second.
Hearing no opposition, we will refer back to the motion that was recorded and that will stand. So that takes care of the individuals that are appointed by the county commission. Again, those 3 members of the public at large. I would still feel more comfortable as we go forward to have something on record stating that the stakeholder representations are not subject to staggering and that they could be reviewed at the end of the year.
They don't need to be reviewed. It's up to our individual groups, yes, to replace us. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
I
I
agree.
guess, and if someone has a problem with the way someone's acting, that'll be up to Wayne to go to that group
Yeah.
and say, you need to send someone. to
Yeah, my biggest, I shouldn't say concern, I just want to make sure that it is very clear that your stakeholders are not subject to that staggering recycling cycle. And that officers would be, you have the potential to have new officers as of the first of the year. I don't know that exactly requires a motion. I will yield to anybody else on that, but I think it's inherent in the makeup of the committees and boards.
Mhm.
I don't think we need to go any further. That's in the motion or in the minutes. All right, I believe Mary is here. Mary, can I ask you? We're gonna go back one agenda item using the county website. Mary Singer with the Burley County. Oh, man, Department of Emergency Services, correct?
Yep.
All right, Mary.
So I also serve as the county's website administrator and social media host, so whatever you guys want to see on your webpage, let me know and I'll see if I can make it happen. As easy as that. I understand you're looking at kind of a calendar of what's going on at the complex, and you give me the information, and if there's a flyer attached to it or whatever, we can just make it a clickable link and they can get all the information. Your URL on our website doesn't get any easier. It's burley.gov/NDCC.
I think probably what I see the biggest hurdle is our individual organizations remembering that when something, we have an agenda item or an event item to actually send that to you. So it probably stands as a really good reminder that if there are things going on to get them. Now, does it matter to you, Mary, one way or the other, if there's a point of contact on this committee and that one person sends things to you? Or are you okay with any of the committee members sending things?
Whatever works for you. I'm okay.
Do you want us to email the stuff to you or?
Yep.
What's your email? Is it-
MMSENGER@nd.gov.
How long does it take to get something on there?
Within a day.
Okay, good.
We're small but mighty.
On there.
Well, thank you.
Perfect. I mean, if I can't do something that you want, I'll reach out and let you know and probably come up with another option for you. Your calendar items probably won't show up on the Burley County calendar, so we're not mixing auctions in with county commission meeting and things like that, but we'll develop something on your presence on our website. So
Really appreciate it.
so give it all to me and I'll see what I can do for you.
Mary, your events, please.
Thank you.
Moving on, we had discussed on a previous meeting, looking at only having one meeting per month, at least through the remainder of the year. As Tuesdays fell, there were months that had enough Tuesdays in them that we would end up with 2 meetings. I have passed out, and if you did not get one, they are available at the end of the table. The proposed remainder of the 2024 calendar year schedule. So we'd be looking at Tuesday, September 17th, October 8th, November 19th, and December 10th. As far as I understand or know that these dates aligned with what we had already identified, we just removed any duplicate months. And it does appear that we would be able to be in the Tom Baker room for the remainder of the year, barring anything coming up and moving us. Don't believe that we're going to need any kind of acceptance, as we've already accepted our meeting schedule. This is just a update and finalization through the end of the year. And then the item number 9, consideration, wait.
Yeah. Schedule I was looking at here, there's a meeting on Tuesday, September 17th. That 17th is on Saturday. But that's when we have our.
No, it's not.
That's August.
It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday.
You're thinking August, not
Constitution
September.
Day.
September.
Yep, September 17th, yep. Is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, Tuesday, September 17th.
Okay, good.
And we don't have a meeting on August 27th?
No, that, since we were meeting today, we would be covered for August, so that was one of those anomalies there that we would end up meeting twice in a month, so. Yeah. You'll be back day of the week. All right, moving on, we were asked about a consideration to hold the September meeting out at the Missouri Valley Complex. Is that an interest of the committee?
So I would say with the caveat of, I did not remember to double check with Lisa Zorn, the administrative assistant for the extension office, to see if the conference room is open. So if we had bad weather and we couldn't maybe be outside? Could we be inside? So I don't know, are you able to open up your calendar?
You're talking 17th, sorry.
Yeah, would there be space if it rains that we could be inside there?
I believe we can.
We'll let Tyler look. So my idea was, maybe more meeting outside, there could be bad weather, and meeting at the community garden location, because it's maybe the highest-ish point out there, kind of, sort of. And, for people that maybe don't know what's all out there. I mean, I guess I kind of feel like we all talked about it, but it might be a good spot to just look, right? What trees are there? Where is the fence for Buck Stop? There's a playground there? You know, we can see that from there as well. So because some of that has come up and I was surprised people maybe never. I use it as a cut across and I go there a lot. So it was my idea to move there. If we would be inside with the rain, I assume we would use the extensions out, so we would record it. If we're outside, I don't think we have recording capabilities, so I'm not sure how Commissioner Munson feels about that.
I love having it.
Okay. I mean, and we could start inside and then say, we're going outside.
So one thing Mary would just commented is that if it's, I'm guessing if it's a regularly scheduled meeting, it has to meet ADA requirements. I'm guessing if it was considered a special meeting or a committee outing, it has to be noticed, it still have to be all that, but it
Okay.
would probably be exempt from the ADA requirements if it was a special.
The community gardens are not ADA, but
I haven't been out there, sorry. I haven't
Okay.
been out to the
I guess I would feel like the community gardens are. The only
Okay.
thing would be is the restrooms might not be handicap restrooms. Our building's totally compliant,
Yeah.
or their building's totally
And
compliant.
then.
The only thing would be is, I guess, the 88, there's no 88 bathrooms at the community gardens. It's just a regular one.
You could have,
Unless it's gone by then,
you could have the meeting and then afterward, it could be like a field trip
we
and
would do that,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe we have to meet inside. Can we meet inside?
I'm double checking.
Or you might have access to the calendar as well, I guess.
Not in our building.
I just asked somebody to check from.
There's only us. We don't want to be in the arena. I will think. We want to be in your conference room.
It's open working.
So I would propose we meet in September 17th at noon in the conference room at the Joanne Hetzel Memorial Building, owned by the Park District, rented by extension. And we have a plan of, if the weather allows, we could walk outside of the building to see the facility.
Any opposition? I think it's a good idea. So change your location on Tuesday, September 17th. Location to be out at the complex in the conference room, and then if it comes back that that it isn't available, or we're just.
It is, we're good.
Okay. Cool. All right, we will do that. And would you be able to, just so we're all on the same page, sprout around, maybe that's a Steve thing, the actual address and such, just to make sure.
And that'll have to be reflected on the agenda.
Yeah, and notice such.
Well, if that's what they want to do, we can do October 8th in the hotel.
Oh,
If you guys want. Cause we have Wi-Fi down there and everything.
and you're all travel.
It can, I'll just look at my schedule and see if I'm available, but
Would, or,
Oh,
Is it-
extensions.
I was gonna say, can somebody else bring that, or?
anybody can
as long
record
as
it,
it's
just get the
recorded.
recording to me, that's fine.
Well, I was gonna say, we could just use extensions because Tyler,
Office, yeah. Or
Yeah.
office.
I was like, yeah.
And we have
Whatever.
2, 3 or 4 of them at the office too,
Yeah.
so we'll use yours, let me know if you need a backup, but is there any objection to having our meeting at the hotel out at Buckstock on Tuesday, October 8th? For the record, I will not be at that meeting. So. Like, Chair, you're up.
We would like. I'm.
Or some you. Oh, no.
Back to it.
All
I
right,
just sent some. Send it to me.
any other items for, yes?
One other question on, next Monday night, the 12th, Buckstop Junction, we got a board meeting out there and anybody's invited out there. whoever wants to sit in on it. See the building inside, see what we're all about, so if somebody wants to come out. We're always looking for volunteers for events coming up out there. It's hard to find volunteers in this town. They're getting less and less of them. We're just getting older. But,
Says the retired one.
come out if you want. That's at 7 o'clock on Monday night to 12.
And maybe that's a good practice to add to our agenda is at the very end. If there is any upcoming items to provide that opportunity, you know, if we're talking about notifying what's going on out there, it probably should start with our committee, so, you know,
That's
feel.
Perfect spot for calendar. And to have Mary have it on the
Right.
website.
Yep. Perfect. Any other items to be discussed?
Got one other item.
All right.
We're having a little trouble with the city fire marshal, assistant fire marshal. Came out there and gave Missy a rough time a couple weeks ago, last week. We want to put up a deck out there in the east and west end of the hotel room. Outdoor deck. We got the material there, we bought it all with our own money. And now they're holding up the building permit on it. So I don't know where it's gonna take to get that. So if anybody's got any leverage,
Why are they mad? What's your uncompliance or whatever you wanna call it?
In the past, they've never had to get building permits out there. I don't know if it was the fact that Buckshot just kind of railroaded through everything, which, you know, people, you know, if you knew him. So we contacted the county. County goes, well, your city. Well, we contacted the city goes, well, we're county.
Yeah.
But we're city jurisdiction.
Right.
So now city planning has decided that we have to get an engineering company involved and all of this to do a deck. It's a freestanding deck. I think it started with Ian with the fire department. He came in and said, well, you need a building permit, and he took it upon himself to contact planning, and planning's like, well, you're in a gray zone. We don't know even if you need a building permit. Like, so we contacted Swenson and Hagen and talked to them about it. They're like, why are you even here? It's a deck.
Yeah, they don't want to do it, and I went through this myself with the city and just build it. And
Floating deck.
It's a free floating deck.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like a mobile home, so you
Yep.
need your.
Use reclaimed lumber, so it's historical.
Yeah.
uh,
You build it according to that.
what's the use?
It's gonna be just, so we have two pre-existing small decks. And they're falling apart, so we're gonna take them down, we're adding, it's gonna be a 55 by 18 deck, so it can be used as outdoor seating also.
Okay, because it's a public use, there's an inspection side with it. You can go through the county and get that,
Okay.
talk to Mitch on it. But and as a city resident, I went through this when I was mayor, and it's like, it should be nothing more than a chart that's in the building code. What's your load? Here's what you need. Done. And I banged my head against the wall for 4 years, so
Yeah, and I mean, I'm all for getting a permit and everything, but
yeah.
we spent 45 minutes on the phone with the city going.
Biggest hang up, example, my project was a $17,000 project. They wanted to add $12,000 in engineering for pouring concrete into tubes.
Okay,
So just build it and get it inspected after the fact by Mitch.
I like that idea.
give us what we actually need.
Engineering firms won't do it. It's too small. So for them to do it, the cost is exorbitant.
Okay.
This is one of those forgiveness things, and just go with it.
Cause yeah, we got product on the ground and we're just, somebody tell me what we have.
And if you're building it yourself, you don't need a permit.
Yes,
If you're using it for public, I would get it inspected by the county.
we've got 2 contractors that are actually volunteering their time to build it for us.
Well, and they're certified and bonded, done.
Yeah.
Done. Just build it.
Okay. Can I refer back to you?
Yeah. It's recorded. If I have to drag somebody out in the alley, I will.
Mary's got her ears covered.
Mary's not listening.
We're all for it. Like I said, we sat on the phone for 45 minutes.
Yeah, no.
They're all like, well, you're in a gray zone. Well, that's not helping us. You tell us we have to have this, but
Just build it.
yeah.
To the ET. Anyway,
Volunteers, you're building it yourself. It's like me as a homeowner, I can do anything I want to my home. If I'm doing it,
Okay.
so.
We could just invent it for like years.
Yeah.
building permit, something, yeah. Yeah, there's spell conflicts committee permit thing. Anyway.
No.
You
but-
can make recommendations to the county commission.
Right? All right, any other items up for discussion that will not make Mary close her ears? Oh, yes, see if it's not right in front of my face. I will send this around. We can adjourn as I send this around, but I will send this around. Please include your name, email, mailing address, and phone number. If you struggle with writing legibly, find a neighbor or friend that will write it legibly. I can be that person for you, but please complete this roster for the committee and there
For the
is-
website.
King will gladly supply the box of crayons.
Yeah,
You're wanting all this stuff like for like extension.
this is
That way.
for the actual committee contact. So best, I would assume that if there is someone that would be second, if you have a second person, include that and indicate that as well. But just for the contact of the committee. Good question. All right, any opposition to adjourning the meeting? Goodbye by saying aye. Hearing none, we will stand in adjournment.
Let's find it. You can say like from yesterday. Meeting, we had a really fancy, but my brain was like.